Welcome everyone to the Wake Up Call channel. It's very important that you pay attention to this story in regards to Google illegally maintaining a monopoly over internet searches, because this is the beginning of the transition from internet searches to literally consciousness internet, which might sound complicated to people, but I'll explain it to you as simply as I can. So make sure you watch the video and share it with others so they can become aware of just what this is. Google did not lose any lawsuit. In fact, Google can't lose a lawsuit because Google is a foundation of the government. Google was created by DARPA. For those of you that don't know what DARPA is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, which is a branch of the United States government and the emerging of technologies for use by the military. Google was created by DARPA. DARPA, again, a government entity. So Google would only be losing their monopoly if something new was to come, if there is a future of search engines that's different than what it is now. The government, of course, rolled out Google the way they rolled it out so that everybody would collectively search inside of Google their collective thoughts, the things they're thinking about, and it would go into the internet of bodies, so to speak, the internet or digital consciousness when we search, right? Nobody thinks about what goes on when we search. Usually you're searching for something that's in your mind, right? You're putting it out into the internet, not realizing who's watching and monitoring everything that you're typing out and searching for. The government is, but the future of the internet is the internet of bodies. And in the internet of bodies, you don't need to type in and search in a Google search engine because your brain is going to be mixed with technology and your thoughts are going to automatically search for these things without you having to type into a search engine. So the dismantling of Google will be in the future, where Google starts to lose its stranglehold over search as we move towards, again, the mixing of technology and man. And one of the important things to note in these articles that are talking about what's next for Google is what some of these people are saying, because it's very clear. By the end of this decade, which is 2030, hence Agenda 2030, by the end of this decade, going to a search engine results page will seem quaint. This is from Adam Epstein, of course, they love that name. The court's decision sets the stage for a remedy that will dramatically improve the search experience for everyone connected to the web. The era of innovation in search is just around the corner. The DOJ has not meaningfully discussed potential remedies it will seek, but they're pretending like the DOJ and government agencies are celebrating the ruling. And in fact, I suppose they are celebrating it because this moves us one step closer to what I believe is the mark of the beast, the mixing of man and machine. Now, when we talk about what's coming, Klaus Schwab and all of these billionaires have talked about it many times. The mixing of our physical, our digital, and our biological identities. They call it a fusion, fusing these things together, and the fourth industrial revolution.
It's at the end, what the fourth industrial revolution will lead to is a fusion of our physical, our digital, and our biological identities.
So this fusion is the mixing of your biological, your digital, and your physical identities. This is the consciousness internet, or the internet of bodies. Now, the other stuff that's important to note that's out there is Elon Musk and Neuralink. And I've talked about this. They keep talking about the Neuralink like it's an actual brain chip. And that is one of the ways that the Neuralink can be implanted. But through nanotechnology, the Neuralink can actually be injected into you. And many believe that a trial experiment was just done where many people were implanted with nanotechnology and are now hooked up to the internet of bodies, so to speak. Other people out there believe that we're all already hooked up because of the nanoparticles that are in the sky, in the chemtrails, and in the food as well. But the reason I've been talking about Elon Musk should be very clear to people. The Neuralink, they're even showing you now how people who have disabilities, let's just say, for example, people who have ALS, who have Lou Gehrig's disease, those types of diseases, are now able to use their mind to search the internet. They're now able to use their mind to play chess online. It's a form of telepathy. And this is what we're heading towards, right? Elon Musk wants to merge humans with AI. That's the next evolution. That is it. That's the final revolution. This trial run of getting everybody so inundated with tech, getting everyone so obsessed with tech, getting people so dependent on tech, where everybody is running to the internet nonstop to search for things to get answers for them, right? This has become the new reality. The days of books and all this stuff over the last 15 years has faded away. Everybody gets their knowledge online. You have a question, you go to Google, right? You have a question, you go to YouTube to look at a how-to video on how to solve that problem. And they've done that deliberately. The government, DARPA, has done that deliberately, making you dependent on the internet, making it almost a form of you already, an extension of you, which will move you one step closer to connecting yourself online. Again, the mixing of the physical and the digital realm. So the internet connectivity of the human body is what we're headed towards. The convergence, or in my belief, the mixing of iron and clay. So the internet of bodies and wireless body area networks is what needs to be discussed, because as we head towards 6G, it's important that people understand the physical layer of 6G networks, how the sixth generation of mobile network will be composed by different nodes, from macro devices, satellite, to nano devices, sensors inside the human body, providing a full connectivity fabric all around us. And that's what we're headed towards next. Human beings, and the trial runs have already been done. I'm not questioning whether or not people are hooked up to the internet. We all know, and we've all seen videos. I'm sure you've stumbled upon videos of people who are suddenly finding themselves on Bluetooth networks. Okay, we know that that is going on. But the next step is going to be consent from people to connect themselves to the internet of bodies. And that's what all of this wearable technology has been. It has been a transition. It has been getting people off the phone, to their smartwatches, to their Apple lenses. This is the merging of man and machine. And I'm going to play for you a clip that aired on CNBC recently, because I want you to see how they're marketing this towards people, how they're discussing this. And of course, you would hear this notion and people would say, you would say, I'm sure, that's crazy. Nobody's going to go along with that. But again, the more desensitized they become, the more you hear the media talk about it like it's normal, and the more we've gotten to this point where people are having their blood pressure tracked by their technology, they're having their footsteps tracked, every single thing you can think of is now being tracked by technology, and everybody looks at it passively, like, hey, it's just a big game, right? Oh, what's the big deal? I'm monitoring the inside of my body with my watch. Well, when you're connected to the internet of bodies, they're going to tell you the benefits of this are for your health, but really the benefit of this is for the government, because you'll be giving the government access to your body. And I'm not talking about just your vitals. I'm talking about you becoming a hackable animal. That's what this is about. The government now having inside knowledge of what you're thinking, your thoughts and all this stuff. And people are like, well, that technology doesn't exist. Well, what do you think all this stuff that we've seen with the Neuralink is about? They're telling you that they could watch your thoughts, that you could actually talk to a computer interface from your mind. That's what this is. So this is what CNBC has been marketing to people out there as far as what's next for the Internet of Bodies and getting people on board with it.
A pervasive general purpose technology that will be used in all of our industries. What I wanted to epitomize with the Internet of Bodies is this notion that we will be under assessment, we will be under measure of computation in every aspect of our lives in the future. From what you eat, who you date, what you buy on the Internet, how much energy you use, but also what kind of specific genetic quirks.
You've heard the term Internet of Things, where inanimate objects can be connected to the Internet and each other. But in 2016, academic and author Dr. Andrea Matwishin took it one step further, coining the term Internet of Bodies, or IOB. She describes it as a network of human bodies whose integrity and functionality rely, at least in part, on the Internet and related technologies such as artificial intelligence.
That might sound far-fetched, but if you have one of these, you're already part of the IOB world.
There are three categories of IOB based on the device's level of integration. The first generation is external, things like smartwatches or rings, which use sensors to track our steps and heart rate, or smart glasses, which function as cameras, headphones and monitors. The second generation is internal. These are devices you ingest or have implanted. Think of pacemakers with digital implants, smart prosthetics hardwired into patients' nerves and muscles, or even digital pills that transmit medical data after being ingested. Finally, there's the third generation. These devices completely merge with the body while maintaining a real-time connection to an external machine and the internet. One of the most notable companies in this space is Elon Musk's Neuralink, which is developing a brain-computer interface, or BCI, called the Link. The coin-sized chip is implanted under the skull, where it can read a person's brain signals and allow them to control an external machine.
I had to use like a mouse stick and stuff, but now it's all being done with my brain.
Neuralink's first test subject, who was paralyzed from the shoulders down, used the device to play chess on his laptop, although a few weeks later, Neuralink reported some malfunctioning.
Proponents of IOB devices say the benefits are clear. They'll improve body cognition and function, improve healthcare, and allow for significant cost savings for people and corporations. But where some see benefits, others see risks. Even the original article coining the term warned of the technology's flaws.
For one, data protection will be paramount. Many of these devices will be able to track, record, and store personal information. Critics argue that if governments and companies got their hands on this data, they could use it to spy on citizens or turn them into revenue streams. There are also concerns around dependency, addiction, and personal safety. Former US Vice President Dick Cheney, for example, admitted that he had his heart implant's wireless function disabled in 2007 over fears that assassins could use it to cause a fatal heart attack.
There are also ethical questions to consider. Could we see a world in which the rich are augmented and the poor aren't? And philosophically, will IOB challenge our notions of human autonomy and self-governance? Who will be responsible for monitoring the risks?
Most IOB implantable and ingestible devices are regulated by agencies such as the Food and Drug Administration in the US or its counterparts internationally. They have a set of rules for things like cochlear implants or body part replacements, but IOB consumer devices are not under their purview. The recent emergence of these devices, their fast boom in sales and their varying capabilities somewhat explains the current patchwork of legislation at regional, state and international levels.
So again, it's very important to note that Google was an experiment. It was the beginning experiment. It's already ran its course. Google has already done what it's supposed to do to get to the next level, which is to get this. All of this stuff is going to be in your body. I've talked about that for years. It's all going to be in you. So get the notion in your head that it's not going to happen, because it is going to happen. Because people are going to consent to this, because they're going to be told that they have to go along with this. They have to evolve with technology. It'll start off, not everybody, it won't be mandated for everybody. Just like cell phones were. Well, guess what? In today's society, you're not even allowed to really be involved in society without a cell phone. They want to text you stuff. They want to do verification through your phone. This is all forced on you without you realizing it, right? People out there who don't have cell phones, they say, well, we're going to text you this. You're going to have your backup confirmation. Just getting into Gmail. You need a passcode sent to your phone to verify that it's you to get into Gmail. That's all been deliberately done. So at first people might go, well, I don't want any part of this. I don't want to be a part of the Internet of Bodies. Then little by little time goes by. You see all the celebrities start to endorse it. You see some of your friends get on board. You don't see people combust in front of you, which is the first fear that most people will have. And I guarantee you will hear the government themselves talk about people like me as crazy conspiracy theorists who think it's the mark of the beast. And they won't see people combust. So they'll go, well, I don't think it's really the mark of the beast. The next thing you know, if you're not connected to the Internet of Bodies and you're not one with machine, you will not be able to buy or sell. You will not be able to use cash anymore because they'll make cash obsolete and they'll force you into this reality. So Google taking a nosedive here is deliberate. That's been the plan all along. Remember, all these things that they've created are going to tumble out on the outside, right? The CIA is not going to exist anymore. They'll just rename it to something else, just like they did with the OSS. Google will just be renamed to something else, but it'll still be fully under the government's control, just like it is now. The future of search, that's the thing that they're saying. That's the underlying thing when you read these stories about Google right now. What's the future of search? Wait, they can't have a monopoly on search anymore? Well, the future of search, don't worry about that, because the future of search is going to be quaint. It's not really going to be the same that it was by the end of this decade. It's not? No. Because what's going to be next is it's going to dramatically improve the search experience for everyone connected to the web. And nobody thinks of what that means when they say that. Dramatically improve the search experience for everyone connected to the web. What does that mean? Do people really think that that means that they're going to get better search results? Because Google, obviously, we all know Google censors things that they don't want to have pop up in the search engine, like me, right? We know that they censor that and they hold stories down. So they'll convince people that that's what they really mean, that everyone's connected to the web at first. But this is the movement. This is the transition now from search engines and the consciousness of the internet of bodies, becoming one with machine, where these things are all done through your thoughts, where you just think of the thing that you want to search, right? Think of it again. When you search for something on the internet, you don't think much of it. You're like, I'm going to look this up. But that's something that's going on in your mind. It's going from your mind to the computer, right? You're typing it out and you're sending it out. You don't know who's looking at it. You just think, hey, nobody cares. I'm just searching in my house. Of course, you're being monitored and tracked with everything you do search. But in the future, you won't have to type it anymore. That's the step that they're removing, where through telepathy, through thinking, through having nanotechnology inside of you, that you'll be merged with machine. And this stuff will become a part of you. And that's what people don't get. And when it happens, they still won't get it. They'll think it's just a transition with technology, that they're not mixing iron and clay. They'll be so distracted with all the other crap going on in the world, they won't even realize that they're no longer human, that they're becoming cyborgs in a sense. And they're becoming, as they've told us many times, hackable animals by allowing this tech into your body. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.